I'm going to show you exactly how hackers break into Wi-Fi networks, why most people's security is laughably weak, and what you need to do right now to protect yourself. Everything in this video is for educational purposes only. Hacking, accessing, or testing any computer system, network, or device without explicit written permission from the owner is illegal and can result in serious criminal charges. Here's what most people don't understand about Wi-Fi security. When you connect to a wireless network, you're literally broadcasting your data through the air. Anyone within range can intercept it. The only thing protecting you is encryption. And most encryption is either weak, misconfigured, or can be broken with the right techniques. There are four main types of Wi-Fi networks you'll encounter. Open networks with no password at all. WEP encrypted networks, which are ancient and broken. WPA and WPA2 networks, which are what most home routers use. And WPA3, the newest standard that most people haven't upgraded to yet. Each one has different attack methods. Some take seconds to crack, some take hours. Some require social engineering instead of technical attacks. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Almost all of them can be compromised if the attacker knows what they're doing. I'm going to walk through how each attack works, so you understand the threat model and can actually protect yourself. Because if you don't know how the attacks work, you can't defend against them. And if you're learning cybersecurity, understanding Wi-Fi hacking is fundamental. It teaches you about wireless protocols, encryption weaknesses, packet capture, password cracking, and network analysis. These skills apply everywhere. WEP cracking, the ancient vulnerability. WEP stands for Wired Equivalent Privacy. It's an encryption standard from 1997. It's been broken for over 20 years. But you'd be shocked how many networks still use it. Why? Because people set up their router once and never change the settings. Small businesses buy cheap routers with WEP as the default. Old devices that only support WEP. The reasons don't matter. The result is the same. WEP can be cracked in under 5 minutes. Here's how the attack works. The attacker puts their wireless card into monitor mode. This lets them capture all wireless traffic in the area, not just traffic addressed to them. They use a tool called AeroDump to capture packets from the target WEP network. WEP has a fundamental flaw in how it generates encryption keys. It uses something called an initialization vector, or IV, that's only 24 bits long. This means it repeats frequently. By capturing enough packets with repeated IVs, you can mathematically derive the encryption key. The attack is called IV collection. The attacker needs to capture somewhere between 20,000 to 80,000 packets. On a busy network, this takes maybe 5 minutes. On a quiet network, they can speed it up using packet injection. They send fake traffic to generate more packets to capture. Once they have enough packets, they use a tool called AirCrack to analyze them and extract the WEP key. The math is complicated, but the tools are automated. You literally just run the command and wait. Within minutes, you have the password. I tested this myself on my own WEP network in a lab environment. From start to finish, including setting up the tools, it took 7 minutes to crack a 64-bit WEP key. A 128-bit key took maybe 12 minutes. The key length barely matters because the fundamental algorithm is broken. The defense is simple. Never use WEP ever. If your router only supports WEP, throw it away and buy a new one. They cost $30. If a business is using WEP, tell them they're broadcasting their network password to anyone with basic tools in 5 minutes. If you're learning Wi-Fi hacking, WEP cracking is usually the first attack you'll practice because it's straightforward and works every time. But it's also mostly obsolete because WEP usage is finally dying out. WPA cracking, the real challenge. This is where it gets interesting. WPA and WPA2 are what most home and business networks use. They're significantly stronger than WEP, but they're still crackable if the password is weak. There are two types of WPA attacks, the handshake capture attack and the PMKID attack. Let me walk through both. The handshake capture attack works like this. When a device connects to a WPA network, it performs a 4-way handshake with the router. This handshake contains a hashed version of the Wi-Fi password. If you can capture this handshake, you can run an offline brute force attack against it. Here's the process. The attacker puts their wireless card in monitor mode. They use AeroDump to monitor the target network. They wait for a device to connect, or they force a device to reconnect by sending deauthentication packets. This disconnects the device, which immediately reconnects and performs the handshake again. The attacker captures this handshake. Now they have a file containing the encrypted password hash. They take this file offline and use a tool like Hashcat or AirCrack with a password dictionary. The tool tries millions of passwords per second, hashing each one and comparing it to the captured handshake. If the Wi-Fi password is in the dictionary, they'll crack it. If it's a weak password like password123 or the router's default password, it'll crack in seconds. If it's a random 8-character password, it might take hours or days depending on the character set. If it's a strong 15+ character random password, it's effectively uncrackable. The newer attack is PMKID. This is even easier because you don't need to capture a full handshake. You just need to capture a single frame from the router when you try to connect. This frame contains something called the PMKID, which is derived from the password. With this, you can run the same offline brute force attack. Same process, same tools, same limitations. Weak passwords crack fast. Strong passwords don't crack. The beauty of these attacks from the attacker's perspective is they're completely passive after the initial capture. You capture the handshake once, then you can try to crack it forever, without ever interacting with the network again. The victim has no idea you're attacking them. The defense is actually simple. Use a strong password. At least 15 characters, mix of uppercase, lowercase, numbers, symbols. Completely random, not dictionary words. If your password is strong, the handshake capture doesn't matter. They can't crack it. Before I share the advanced Wi-Fi attacks, here's the problem with learning hacking from YouTube. You watch videos, you understand concepts, but when you try it yourself, everything breaks. Tools throw errors, commands fail, you get stuck and have no one to ask. That's exactly why I built the Hacker Academy. The moment you join, you get the Pro Hacker Starter Kit. 70+ pages of battle-tested cheat sheets. Every command that actually works, every tool you actually need, every technique pros actually use. But here's where it gets really valuable. We do weekly live Q&A calls where you can ask anything. Stuck on a Hack the Box or Try Hack Me machine? Bring it to the call. Building your first security tool and it's not working? We'll debug it together. Got a security interview next week? We'll run through practice questions. It's a community of people actively winning and sharing what actually works. Join the Hacker Academy. It's the fastest and most effective way to learn real hacking skills with real people who actually want you to succeed. Link in the description. I'll see you inside. Beyond basic cracking, there are more sophisticated Wi-Fi attacks that professional pentesters use. WPS attacks. WPS stands for Wi-Fi Protected Setup. It's a feature that lets you connect to a network by pressing a button on the router or entering an 8-digit PIN. The problem? That 8-digit PIN can be brute forced. There are only 11,000 possible combinations because of how the algorithm works. Tools like Reaver can brute force a WPS PIN in anywhere from 2 to 10 hours. Once they have the PIN, they can extract the actual Wi-Fi password. The defense is disabling WPS entirely. Most people don't even know it's enabled. Rogue access point attacks. The attacker sets up their own access point that looks identical to the legitimate network. Same SSID, similar signal strength, positioned close to the target. Devices automatically connect to whichever signal is stronger. Users don't notice they're on the wrong network. Now the attacker controls all traffic. They can capture credentials, inject malware, perform man-in-the-middle attacks. This is particularly effective in offices or apartment buildings where there are multiple networks in range. Crack attacks. This stands for Key Reinstallation Attack. It's a vulnerability in the WPA2 protocol itself, not in passwords. By exploiting how WPA2 handles encryption key installation, an attacker can decrypt traffic, hijack connections, and inject data. The attack is complex but effective against unpatched devices. Wi-Fi Pineapple attacks. The Wi-Fi Pineapple is a physical device designed for penetration testing. It automatically performs evil twin attacks, captures handshakes, runs man-in-the-middle attacks, and logs all traffic. It's a legitimate security tool, but obviously can be used maliciously. The point is, Wi-Fi security is way more complex than most people think. There are protocol vulnerabilities, implementation bugs, configuration weaknesses, and social engineering vectors. A skilled attacker has dozens of techniques. Let's talk about how to actually defend your own networks. For home users, here's what you need to do right now. First, check what encryption your router is using. Log into your router's admin panel. Check the wireless security settings. If it says WEP, change it immediately to WPA2 or WPA3. Second, change your Wi-Fi password to something strong, minimum 15 characters. Don't use dictionary words. Strong passwords defeat handshake cracking attacks. Third, disable WPS. There's usually a setting in the wireless section. Turn it off. You don't need the convenience and it creates a massive vulnerability. Fourth, change your router's admin password. The default admin password is published online for every router model. If someone gets on your network, they can access your router settings and completely own your network. Use a strong, unique password. Fifth, update your router firmware. Check the manufacturer's website for updates. Old firmware has known vulnerabilities. Newer firmware patches them. Sixth, consider hiding your SSID. This won't stop a determined attacker, but it reduces casual attempts. Your network won't show up in the list of available networks.